Hello students, in this video we'll study about the fourth chapter of history, that is thinkers, beliefs and buildings. The cultural development that happened between 600 BCE to 600 CE. In this video we'll study about basic ideas of Jaina philosophy, 5 vows taken by the Jaina monks, the spread of Jainism, the life of Buddha, main teachings of Buddhism, followers of Buddha, and the spread of Buddhism. First, let us study about the message of Mahavira. The basic philosophy of the Jainas was already in existence in North India before the birth of Vardhamana, who came to be known as Mahavira. The Tirthankaras are teachers who guide men and women cross the river of existence. The main teachings of Mahavira are: the entire world is animated, even stones, rocks and water have life. No injury to living beings, especially to humans, animals, plants and insects. The cycle of birth and rebirth is shaped through karma. Asceticism and penance are required to free oneself from the cycle of karma. This can be attained only by renouncing the world. Therefore, monastic existence is a necessary condition of salvation. The 5 vows taken by Jaina monks and nuns: to abstain from killing, to abstain from stealing, to abstain from lying, to observe celibacy, and to abstain from possessing property. Now let us study about the spread of Jainism. Jainism as a religion spread during the life of Mahavira. The teachings of Mahavira were recorded by his disciples. These were in the form of stories which could appeal to ordinary people. Jaina scholars produced a wealth of literature in a variety of languages such as Prakrit, Sanskrit and Tamil, and preserved in libraries attached to temples. Gradually, Jainism spread to many parts of India. Many stone sculptures connected with the Jaina tradition have been recovered from several sites. Now we'll study about Buddha and his life. Buddha was one of the most influential teachers of his time. His message spread across the subcontinent and beyond, through Central Asia to China, Korea and Japan, and through Sri Lanka across seas to Myanmar, Thailand and Indonesia. Buddha was named Siddhartha at birth and was the son of the chief of Sakya clan. He led a sheltered upbringing in the palace, detached from the harsh realities of life. He undertook a journey into a city which was a turning point in his life. He was deeply anguished when he saw an old man, a sick man, and a corpse. It was at the moment that he realized that decay of human body was inevitable. He saw a mendicant who had come to terms with old age and disease and death and found peace. Soon after, Siddhartha left the palace in search of truth. He explored many paths including bodily mortification. He abandoned the extreme path and meditated for several days and finally attained enlightenment and came to be known as Buddha or the Enlightened One. For the rest of his life, he taught Dhamma or the path of righteous living. Now let us study about the teachings of Buddhism and its various sources. Sutta Pitaka contains the teachings of Buddha in the form of stories. Few stories describe his miraculous powers. Others suggest that Buddha tried to convince people through reasons and persuasion rather through displays of supernatural power. His main teachings: the world is transient and constantly changing. It also soulless, and there is nothing permanent or eternal in it. Within this transient world, sorrow is intrinsic to human existence. It is by following the middle path between severe penance and self-indulgence that human beings can rise above these worldly troubles. In the early forms of Buddhism, whether or not God existed was irrelevant. Buddha regarded the social world as a creation of humans rather than divine origin, and thus advised kings and Gahapadis to be human and ethical. Buddhism emphasizes literally the extinguishing of the ego and desires and thus ends the suffering of those who renounce the world. Followers of the Buddha. Buddha's last words to his followers were, be lambs unto yourselves, as all of you must work out of your own liberation. The body of disciples of the Buddha or an organization of monks is called Sangha. Buddha founded a Sangha. It was an organization of monks who became teachers of Dhamma. These monks led a simple life, possessing only the essential requisites for survival, such as a bowl to receive food once a day from the laity. As they lived on alms, they were known as bhikkhus. Initially, only men were allowed in the Sangha, but later women also came to be admitted. The Buddha's foster mother, Mahaprajapati Gautami, was the first woman to be included as bhikkhuni. Many women who entered the Sangha became teachers of Dhamma and went on to become theirs or respected women who had attained liberation. The Buddha's followers came from many social groups. They included kings, wealthy men and Gahapadis, and also humbler folk, workers, slaves and craftspeople. Once within the Sangha, all were regarded as equal. Having shed their earlier social identities, on becoming bhikkhus and bhikkhunis. The Buddhist Sangha, which comprised of bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, functioned on the lines of ganas and sanghs, where consensus was arrived at based on discussions. The Buddhist Sangha, which comprised of bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, functioned on the lines of ganas and sanghs, where consensus was arrived at based on discussions. If discussions failed to bring about harmony, then decisions were taken by a vote on that subject. Spread of Buddhism. Buddhism grew rapidly both during the lifetime of Buddha and after his death. People were dissatisfied with the prevailing religions and were confused by the social changes that were occurring. Buddhism emphasized on the importance of conduct and values rather than claims of superiority based on birth. The emphasis was laid on metta and karuna, especially for those who were young and weaker than oneself. These were ideas that drew men and women to Buddhism.